Before we get into this video, tribe, what you have to understand is you are creating rules in your life right now that's ruining your life. And what you have to understand deeper is that these rules you're creating are not even your rules. They're made up. These are made up rules, by the way, but you tend to believe them. And since you believe them, remember, you have to manifest from that point. So in other words, you're making up these rules that aren't really even true, but you follow them, you believe them to your core, to the deep-rooted you, and then you experience them. But yet the oxymoron is you want to believe that you're not creating these rules. And to go a step further is you're the exception to the rules. You see? Because whatever rules you want to live by, I'm the exception to. It doesn't have to happen to me. Listen, I create rules in my life. I create rules that I want to experience. I'm in control of my life. I'm the exception. I'm the exception to any rule that you want to set over me. Now, let me give you a small example before we really dive into this, okay? Now, I remember one time I went back, I live in Thailand, by the way, for 5 years, and I went back to visit my mom. And while I was back there, my mom and my sister was doing this diet, and they've been doing the diet for several months. And for my mom, she wasn't really happy with the diet. She wasn't getting results that she really wanted. She didn't think she was feeling better, losing weight, all that jazz, okay? Maybe you felt that way if you try to do diets. They don't work. No diet works. Okay, but while my mom was explaining to me this diet, okay, she said something to me very interesting because she wasn't really paying attention to what she was saying because she was saying this giant story. And this is what she said. She said, "Chad, I knew from the beginning this diet wasn't going to work." And I caught it, and it was like ringing a cowbell. And I stopped her right there and I said, "Mom, did you just realize what you said? You created a rule over your life. You created a rule how the diet was going to play out. And that's what's actually manifesting. That's what's actually manifesting in your life right now." Then she looked at me kind of confusing, like, "What in the world are you talking about, Chad? What rule did I create?" Okay, and I repeated it to her. I said, "You just told me I knew from the beginning this diet wasn't going to work. And listen, 3-4 months down the road, the diet is not working." So you're literally manifesting, experiencing what you just said, what you just believed to your core, that the diet wasn't going to work anyway. And that's what you're experiencing. But you see, you know what the oxymoron is that we want to believe that we don't set these rules, okay? But then when life isn't going our way, we want to blame the circumstance. We don't want to blame the rule we set. We don't want to blame the belief that we set. Okay, listen, how manifesting works, like success works, it's only going by what you believe to be true for you. Okay, let me put it this way, more simply. You're creating invisible rules around your life, around what you believe, how you think something's going to occur. Okay, you're either saying it to yourself or you're saying it out loud, and that's exactly what you are experiencing, my friends. And you are not alone because honestly, most of us, all of us, do this. Okay, let me give you my example. Okay, we're getting ready to move. We're in Thailand. We're getting ready to move to Jomtien, and it is the middle of May right now. Okay, so it's the middle of May. It's going into the rainy season. It's going into low season. Low season, I mean that it's not a lot of tourists. Okay, so I might sit here and set a rule in my mind saying, hey, if we go to Jomtien right now, I'm going to pay huge prices in rent because it's still tourist season. Okay, we have to go during rainy season. We have to go during July because that's the lowest. Okay, that's when no tourists are here. That's what gives me the greatest negotiating power. Okay, you see what I'm doing? I'm creating these invisible rules. I'm creating these rules around how something is going to play out. Okay, these rules I'm creating is if we go right now, I'm going to pay big prices in rent. That's what I believe because that's what I'm saying. And listen, that's what I have to experience. So in the beginning of the video, if you remember, I said, I'm the exception to the rules. Okay, this is how you get out of the funk phase. Okay, you're setting all these invisible rules for yourself. Okay, how something is going to go in your life. Okay, and these invisible rules might be from your parents, your grandparents, you learned them in school. Okay, you learned them at the workplace, your boss, you learned them hanging around your friends, because we tend to mimic our friends and environment. Okay, but this is how you get out of it, is I'm the exception to the rules. I'm the exception, meaning in my example I just gave you about moving to Jomtien, is I'm the exception. It doesn't matter when I go to Jomtien. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which month. It doesn't matter if I go during high season, during the busiest month there, I'm going to get the best prices. I'm the exception to the rules, my friends. Now listen really fast. I know some of you out there, this is going to make you angry. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe that you're setting invisible rules for your life. You're setting rules for your life that you're experiencing what you don't want to experience, okay? I know there's a lot of you out there like this, and I know this kind of information, it takes a little bit of while to chew on, okay? But what I want you to do is just be aware. Listen, guys, the bottom line is you're not aware of what you're thinking. You're not aware of what your beliefs are. You're not aware of your self-talk, okay? You're just going through life like a robot, like on autopilot, and you're literally just talking, and you're literally not aware of what you're flipping saying. Just like in my mom example, she was telling me this story about her diet, but she wasn't aware of what she was telling me. Okay, so that's the biggest danger, is you're not aware of what you're doing. Okay, this is probably the most frustrating phase of manifesting right here, is awareness. Okay, once you start becoming aware of your thoughts, what you're thinking, what your beliefs are, these little tiny rules that you're setting over your life, these invisible rules that you're setting over your life that you believe, and since you believe them, you have to experience them. It can be a very, this is a very frustrating moment, because you start thinking like, dude, I didn't know I believed this shit, okay? But the issue is, see, most of you aren't staying with this information long enough to experience it, because you want to debate it. You want to sit there and say, well, Chad, no, this isn't true. Whatever you believe doesn't come to you. Interesting. I bet you, if you really look back at your life, everything you assume to be true for you, you've experienced, you've manifested. Everything you believe to be true, you've experienced, you manifested. All the little invisible little rules you set around your life, around your relationships, around how you think people think, all those little rules you set and you murmur and complain about, you've experienced. Okay? And it goes deeper than that. These little rules are like, rich people hate people. Rich people screw people. Rich people scam people. Okay, that's a little rule that you have invisible, that's deep rooted inside you. And that right there is the whole reason why you can't be rich. That right there is a whole reason why you can't be prosperous. You can't be abundant, because you literally, listen guys, you literally hate people that have what you want. Listen what you're doing. Pay attention what you're doing. Listen guys. You are not paying attention to what you're doing, what you're saying. You think you think whatever you're saying, whatever you think, whatever you believe, you think that God is up in the cloud somewhere with a voodoo doll poking pins in it. You understand? You think that people are just lucky and you are unlucky. Okay, that's an invisible rule. You think you're unlucky, but listen, if you think and believe you're unlucky, well, you're going to experience you being unlucky. Now remember, as we wrap up this video, okay, the way to get out of this gunk is you're the exception. You're the exception to the rule, okay? You're the exception, okay? Listen, sometimes you can say, I'm the exception, and sometimes you just have to rewrite the rule. You just have to rewire your mind, your thinking, what you're saying. You have to say it different. You understand? Sometimes I can sit there and say, I'm the exception to the rule, okay? Or I'm really just rewording what I'm saying. Is if I'm moving to Jiangyin, it doesn't matter what month I'm moving. Okay, I'm gonna get the best prices when we go there. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm gonna get the best prices. Okay, listen, when I make YouTube videos, listen to this. Okay, now this is an invisible rule that I found myself setting indirectly. I didn't really say it out loud. I just thought it from time to time. Is that when we came up here, I'm in Surin right now. We came up here a year ago to take care of Aang's dad. Okay, this is a traditional Thai house. Okay, traditional Thai houses, they're ugly, guys. They got clutter all over the place. It's not a modern house. Okay, it's not a rich house. Okay, it's a family house. Okay, that's how Thai people really live up in the village. Okay, a lot of people comment on my videos. Well, Chad, you're talking about manifesting and you're sitting in a broken up room, broken up house. Okay, you understand? I'm not going to dig down the rabbit hole of the comment, but after a while, I start indirectly thinking like, well, my video is going to do poor because, you know, I'm not in a rich area. I'm not living by the ocean. I don't have an ocean view. Okay, so I start telling myself, well, when I move to Jiangyin, when I live in a rich neighborhood, that's when my video is going to take off. That's when my videos are going to go viral. That's when my channel is going to go viral. You see what I did? That's an invisible rule that I set for myself that I didn't realize it. Instead, I really start paying attention to what I'm thinking. Okay. Now, again, I'm the exception to the rule, meaning like it doesn't matter where I film my videos. I can film my videos in a barn and they will go viral because it's the information that's getting you results in your life. I can film my video right now on the toilet and it will go viral. See, that's the exception. That's what you truly have to believe. It doesn't matter the environment I'm filming in. What matters is the information I'm giving you. Okay, but see, that's what I tell myself is it doesn't matter where I'm at. You see, that's how simply these rules, the invisible rules, can really creep in our lives. Okay, that's why I said, even for me, I catch myself, I fall into it, baby. But other than that, tribe, remember, I love you guys. Comment below or chat this baby up. If you want to get in contact with me, all the nuggets is inside the description, baby. So check out the description. Everything's there. Other than that, remember, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.